Welcome to Doesn't Matter. Objectification. This is a good one. Okay? We've been brainwashed in the last 25 or 30 years into believing that objectification is wrong. It's not wrong. In fact, it's impossible not to objectify to some degree. If you are trying to understand something or someone, you are going to objectify them to some degree. If you do not know them, you do not understand them, you have not encountered them before. Objectification is the reduction of a person to obvious and salient characteristics. All right? You can't do anything but objectify someone when you first meet them. And if you don't objectify them, if you don't, and you don't do so well, you can have disastrous social outcomes or even dangerous ones. The skill of objectification is necessary. It's part of our evolutionary heritage. It's part of our psychological and psychosocial makeup. And the idea that objectification is wrong is preposterous. It's outrageous. And the fact that the media and even so much of both academic and popular culture have let this one slide is beyond me. When I first meet you, I'm going to objectify you a hell of a lot because I don't know anything about you. So I'm going to look at your height, your weight, your gender, your clothing, your cultural perception, my perception of your socioeconomic status, everything. I'm objectifying the hell out of you, and damn, I need to in my job, working in a gym, working as a security guard, I need to objectify you, and I need to do a good job of it. So I need to know whether you're a threat, whether you're not a threat, whether you need help or you don't need help. I need to know if you're going to give me one of these funny little signals that tells me you're being taken hostage, whatever. I need to know these things, and I can't do that if I'm not observing you closely, okay? Which also runs the risk of me getting cancelled for a whole set of other reasons. But I have to objectify. I have to reduce you to what is relevant at the time, what is relevant according to the context. And context is everything. Without context, right down to the mathematics, relativity. Most of our mathematical theorems don't work without context. They're impossible. They don't work. You need framing. Everything needs to be framed. That's framed by context. And the context of dealing with people you don't know is to objectify them, but to do so in a way that is as accurate and as data rich as you can possibly get so you can make the best decisions about how to interact with them. You need to do that. The expressions on their face, their potential mood, all of these things. Now you're objectifying that person. You're reducing them to the way they look, your perception of their socioeconomic status, their relative importance to you, their relative attractiveness, and whatever expressions or micro-expressions you can read at the time. Now, they're vastly more than that. You just picked out a few pixels, a few hundredths of 1% of who they are. But you need to do that. It's really important to do that. So we all objectify, and we should continue to objectify each other as much as possible. It's a process of familiarization and socialization. It's built into us. We can't help doing it, and we should do it as skillfully as we possibly can. What is wrong in objectification is when I have more data on you. I've met you X number of times. You have divulged personal stories, secrets even. We've shared, we've engaged, and as a result, I'm building a much more accurate picture of you. Now, if I reduce you or keep you frozen in my initial objectification, then that's crap. That's wrong. And that is either infantilizing or demonizing, or if you've got a negative impression of them objectively to begin with and you found out later you were wrong, then you're continuing to demonize that person or infantilize them if you thought they were less mature or younger than you thought, or whatever. You're keeping them in your initial state of objective decision, of objective imagery. You got to abandon that. You have to let go of that and move on to the bigger, broader, wider picture of who they are. And to be blatantly honest, you're still objectifying them, because unless you're rummaging around in their head and you have an amazing bandwidth accuracy to all their memories, and you've been a fly over their shoulder for a few years, you're still getting a very limited picture of who they are. It takes years and years to get to know people, and they still surprise you on a regular basis. So to some degree, we're always objectifying. We don't have telepathy. We're not hive minds. We're not sharing each other's mental spaces. We're having to relate to each other through descriptors like language, like micro expressions, body language. We're not ever in someone's head, not really. Our amazing imaginations can approach that sometimes with a lot of training, but no, you are never getting a full picture of someone, which means you're objectifying them. You're reducing them to a small picture in your brain that's manageable, because your brain doesn't have the bandwidth to actually, or the bandwidth or the senses to absorb the holistic nature of that whole person. Okay? They're not walking around in your head. You got a picture in your head of them. And let's hope it's accurate enough that you can both get on. That's essentially what we're all doing, which means we're all objectifying. We're always objectifying. And the key is not to get frozen into one state of objectivity, but to continuously move the bar as we get more data. I hope that has made things a little clearer. So we're all objectifiers. We're always objectifying. And most of the time, it's good. We kind of need to do it, unless you want to live in your own skull and talk to yourself for the rest of your life. Oops.